What do people learn too late? That no is a complete sentence. Don't get in the habit of auto-launching explanations and defenses. Oftentimes, the people listening will ignore all that anyway and just hear, "But here's an opportunity to dissuade me. Look how hard I'm working to get your approval to say no to you." That the cliché "you never know when it's the last time you'll see to someone" should absolutely be remembered for every occasion. My best friend just died in a car accident this past Saturday, and the last time I saw him we got in an argument and he left and we didn't speak after that. I'm destroyed by it. Edit. Thank you all so much for the support and for the awards. I do have a great support circle outside of this, but all these replies and condolences really shows the empathy complete strangers can have. My grandpa passed away 2 weeks ago from cancer. We flew to Saskatchewan where he lives and managed to see him. I talked with him and gave him a hug. Before we left, I had the feeling that I was never seeing him again. I snuck back into the room and gave him one last hug and told him that I will miss him. He died 6 hours later. I'm so grateful for whatever it was that told me to see him one last time before we went home. What not to share on the internet? I am so grateful that my party years of 23 occurred in the pre-camerathony era. Amen to that. My MySpace pics are embarrassing enough. I'm glad I don't come across cringe-worthy pics of myself in skinny scarves and leg warmers. Lol. I lived in AZ. Why on earth did I wear those things in 120-degree heat? Not to mention my emo phase shudder, those can't stay in the family photo albums. The value of walking away from someone toxic in your life, even if it is your parents and family. If you are thinking of it and aren't scared and have somewhere where you can land in a safe place, then do it. It hurts like hell for a long while, but it gets better, and one day you realize how peaceful your life is and you find you'd only miss the family you wish you had had. Yes. Also, find a support net, but for your own sanity. Just avoid the topic with people who are curious. Not many people understand and will try to talk you into making up with your family. It's so hard in the beginning, but it gets much easier. You find your own people, create your own families, and your own peace. How dangerous driving a car can be. This is very, very true. I survived car accidents without any scratch in 3 months. Drive safe and remember, just because you have priority way, it doesn't mean that they will give it to you. Pay attention. Sometimes letting go of your priority is the way to avoid an accident. Edit. By priority way I meant right of way. I didn't know how was it called in English, so I written how I would say it in my language. My boyfriend was in a poker tournament where first prize was $250K. Someone told him, "Wow, that's quit your job money." We were very concerned for this dude's finances. Friend of mine inherited $400K from a relative. He announced it on Facebook. Suddenly had tons of new friends, a new apartment, new electronics, new girlfriend who was madly in love with him. They got married in a huge ceremony. The money was gone within 18 months, and within 3 months of that she divorced him for being broke, and he had to move back into his mom's. Saying "I love you" or wanting to reach out to your family, friends, and loved ones, but crippling anxiety stops you. You never know when it may be too late to say these things, so be in the moment, and live/love in the present authentically. Also, to learn the difference between saying "I love you" as a statement, and saying "I love you" but really meaning "Do you love me?" That salary amount is not the entirety of an equation when deciding where to work. You have to take into account the cost of living, commute times, the safety of the nearby area, and the convenience of living in the area. Studies have shown that taking a 20-minute longer commute is as bad for your job satisfaction as a 19% pay cut. On top of that, wealth equals money in, money out. If a new job pays $20,000 more, but rent/property prices are $30,000 more per year, you are taking the pay cut. On top of that, you have to consider your future. Do you have to move to an undesirable location to work there? Crammed in a little apartment where the nearest services are an hour away? What about air quality? What about noise levels? Is this a place where you want to start a family and raise kids? All of those play a factor in determining the desirability of a job. I am a firm believer that my job doesn't exist outside this city is a bullshit myth. Even if you're a super specialized rocket scientist with a PhD in orbital dynamics, NASA is not the only organization with a job opening for you. It's fine to switch the real meaning from time to time. Everyone needs a little occasional reassurance. But if all my "I love you" utterances come from the latter, and especially the first one in a romantic relationship, I need to do some work of myself if I hope to have any quality relationships in my life. That happiness usually comes from a diverse range of interests, hobbies, and commitments. You are not your job. Your romantic partner cannot be your everything, etc. It's so easy to get sucked into a life where your career is everything, or where you wrap your entire identity around your partner. There is nothing wrong with celebrating your loved ones and being close. And there is nothing wrong with caring about your job. You just need more to thrive. I see this so often in relationships. Two people meet and fall in love. They each inspire one another based on their interests and achievements. It's part of what makes them fall in love. But slowly, over time, they let those hobbies go. Stress gets in the way. Bills pile up. And then one day they find themselves wondering why they ever loved this person in the first place. Instead of being sexy and interesting, they're just part of a routine. Sitting on your ass all day is not good for your health at all. Rolls over onto stomach instead. Now you listen here, you little shit. Mistakes have consequences. Sometimes they are huge consequences, such as a mistake while driving could kill yourself or someone else. Sometimes they're little consequences. But always learn from your mistakes, and that you should always be learning and improving yourself. That it's never too late to learn. You really whipped out the reverse there. That most people will just help you. How and if they can, if you are honest with them. That some things can't never be undone. The actions you take and the words you speak will come back around sooner or later. Yes, some words can't never be taken back. I learned it the hard way. This is why it's better to train yourself to think carefully before saying something. I didn't do that because I wanted everything to come naturally, but I realized that's just an excuse I used to avoid taking responsibility of things I said. That dwelling in the past only wastes your present and shortens your future. It seems like so many people feel the need to conceal what they actually want from you, and try to get it by presenting a half-truth or what they think you want to hear, instead of just being straightforward. How to communicate. Not communicating with my wife almost destroyed my marriage. I'm finally learning to tell my wife how I feel. Don't ever think it's okay to talk to yourself in a manner you wouldn't let another human being talk to you. The biggest abuser I ever had in my life was my constant companion, the thoughts in my head. We often take care to choose our words when correcting the child or friend. But if anyone had talked to me the way I talked to me for 30 straight fucking years, I would have murdered them. And probably got away with it too. Be nice to yourself. You're the only you have. My brain after reading that, yeah, be nicer to yourself you stupid fuck. Learning when to say no. Learning how to apologize when it's your fault. And how to not apologize when it's not your fault.